This is what the industry does.
Dimock, Pennsylvania resident Raymond Kemble swears that from the moment the gas industry moved into his town, his water has been contaminated, and he's got the records to prove it.
There's 27 different things now in the water, and this test was done by DEP.
In July 2012, the Environmental Protection Agency, from its headquarters in Washington, D.C., scaled back its investigation in Dimock, saying the level of contamination was below any alarming levels. But a recent report by the Los Angeles Times shows a leaked PowerPoint presentation from the staff at the Mid-Atlantic EPA office in Philadelphia, arguing for a continued assessment of Dimock's water.
EPA's experience in Wyoming and Texas and Pennsylvania, where, in my opinion, they clearly put the politics ahead of the science.
In June of this year, the EPA abruptly halted another key study in Pavilion, Wyoming, and handed the study over to the state. But the funding for the study will come from gas drilling company in Canada, the very company accused of contaminating the water.
I would just ask, can you see how this episode makes Congress and, frankly, the American people skeptical of EPA's willingness to be fair and unbiased in these studies as they try to draw these connections between any fracking activity and pollutants in groundwater?
Meanwhile, to the delight of pro-drilling Republicans on the Hill, President Obama offered his support for natural gas exploration during a speech on his climate action plan.
And it's the transition fuel that can power our economy.
Obama's support isn't sitting well with environmentalists in states heavily impacted by fracking like Pennsylvania, where a May 2013 poll by the University of Michigan shows 58% of Pennsylvanians support a statewide moratorium.
The idea that natural gas is an alternative fuel or some kind of an answer is a fallacy.
Earlier this year, the Pennsylvania Democratic Party adopted a moratorium as part of its party platform, arguing more studies need to be done on the impacts of fracking.
That moratorium, however, has very little chance of moving. Republicans control both chambers of the legislature, and the state has Republican Governor Tom Corbett, who welcomed the gas companies into the state with open arms during his campaign in 2010. And even with low approval ratings and an upcoming 2014 re-election, a moratorium may not be in the cards should a Democrat win.
As of yet, I'm sorry to report that there are no Democratic gubernatorial candidates that have, entered the race that claim to be pro-moratorium, and that needs to change.
It can be done safely, it can be done cleanly, and it's already proven to lower the impacts to the ozone.
All of this political back and forth is little consolation for some Dimock residents like Kembler, who are still forced to fill new water tanks with outside water. For WashingtonExaminer.com, I'm Steve Doty.